Today on We Love It Outdoors,
We have the largest population of lake sturgeon in the world.
we're heading to Lake Winnebago right now. It's opening day of the sturgeon spearing season.
Hit the 100-pound club.
People come from 8, 9 different states to do this.
There's a fish.
Ready? Check it.
I'm Dan Eigen, full-time guide and avid outdoorsman. These days, it's easy to get stuck inside in a virtual world. But the real world is outside.
Look at that awesome looking fish.
So I challenge you to put your instincts to work, making real memories with real people. Because we love it outdoors.
Some of the most important reasons why we love it outdoors are the traditions and experiences that have been passed down from generation to generation. They are the threads that hold our way of life together and ensure our deep appreciation for wildlife and the places they live will continue. Today I'm on my way to Wisconsin to experience one of the longest running outdoor traditions in the upper Midwest ice belt, an annual event that is part fishing, part hunting, part folk art, part party, and all about one of the most fascinating fish on the planet, the lake sturgeon. For the past 41 years, ice anglers from all over Wisconsin and beyond have gathered every winter on the Lake Winnebago system for the annual sturgeon spearing season. And this year, the We Love It Outdoors team will be there to experience it all.
The first year I fished on this corner of the lake, there was 6 shanties on the entire corner. Now there's probably a couple thousand. Usually there's people come from 8, 9 different states to do this. We've got a very, very healthy population of sturgeon, as you'll see tomorrow when they start registering them. The water clarity is good this year. So it's a very, very unique sport. Very unique sport.
Our first stop is the Appleton, Wisconsin Mills Fleet Farm store, where cold weather gear is tops on the list, along with a variety of other must-have ice fishing items. From the Fleet Farm store, we're off to Lake Winnebago, a 140,000-acre freshwater giant that is unique in the upper Midwest because it is home to one of the healthiest populations of lake sturgeon in North America.
So these are really the good old days for our sturgeon population and in turn our spear fishery. We estimate on the Winnebago system that we have about 18,000 adult females, 25,000 adult males within the population. And that's only including the adult fish. So we have a really healthy population in terms of overall numbers. Why I say these are the good old days is the abundance of the very large fish. The largest fish that we've handled in the Winnebago system was 87.5 inches long. And we estimate pre-spawn she would have been about 240 pounds. We handled that fish in the spring of 2012. We had actually handled that same fish in 2008 as well. And at that time it was just a couple inches shorter. So we know there's these bigger fish out there that could potentially break, if not shatter, the current state record.
Well, time to hook up to the brand spanking new spear house. Look at that. The red dot, we'll call it.
It's still 2 days before the season, but we're going to meet sturgeon spearing expert Matt Van Elzen, who has agreed to show a rookie like me the sturgeon spearing ropes.
You guys want to follow me out then?
Sure, yep,
We'll head on out.
okay.
Matt builds custom spearing houses, and this one is brand new. The first step is deciding where to put it. Like all fish, sturgeon relate to food. As bottom feeders, their main forage on Winnebago are mayfly larvae, bloodworms, and dead shad. But those food sources exist almost everywhere, so there are hundreds of square miles of possible locations.
Okay, well there it is, right there, X marks the spot.
Experienced sturgeon hunters have developed some clever methods for locating sturgeon food sources.
This is just a heavy weighted pipe with a check valve on top so the air can get out, and it acts like a suction. Once you have the mud in it, it lifts the mud right up. We can dump the mud back on the ground, and we'll spread it out, put a little water on it, and see if we can find any worms.
Others determine location based on history. but mostly it's just a roll of the dice and a gut feeling.
You know what? I really didn't have a whole lot of thought to it. It's just I looked at Matt's house and I looked at Dave's house and I looked at the next house and I figured, you know what, there's gonna be a giant right there. So that's all. You know, there was no rhyme or reason. When Saturday comes, then there'll be a big one right underneath that hole right there. Right there.
Once you've got your spot, it's a matter of marking out your sturgeon-sized 4x8 spearing hole. Then bringing out the heavy machinery. A custom-made power ice saw that rips through 18 inches of ice with ease. Once the hole is cut, the giant slab is pushed down and under the ice cap.
Let it float.
Oh, this is so cool.
Now. Gone.
Oh, what?
We just sent that over there, actually.
That is awesome.
Don't fall in the hole.
Now it's just a matter of positioning the house over the hole
Right there?
and banking it up with a little snow. The final step is the ingenious method of using cut white PVC pipe laid in a star shape on the lake bottom to increase visibility.
And as you can see, if anything swims over that, it's, you know, you can see it a lot better.
How many inches from the center to the outside?
60 inches. The pipes are 10 feet long. So if a fish is, you know, half the length of there, it's a 60-inch fish.
I've really only got one thing left before I'm ready to take a stab at this sport, and that's a spear. But with sturgeon, the spear isn't something you can just pick up at your local tackle shop. We'll explain when We Love It Outdoors returns. The We Love It Outdoors team is in Stockbridge, Wisconsin, the self-proclaimed sturgeon center of the world, to take part in the annual Lake Winnebago sturgeon spearing season. Thanks to Matt Van Elzen, his father Dave, and their crew, I've got my house set up and ready. Now I need a spear, and I'm told the only guy to talk to is local spear maker Steve Schmidt.
Good to see you, Steve.
Nice to meet you.
So these are the weapons, huh?
Yep, this is what we use to go out on the lake for the big fish.
Wow. I would say, huh? Oops.
Yep.
That's the breakaway head
Yep.
right there, huh?
The head's made to come off for, so when you get them on, the head's got to come off, otherwise you never be able to pull the spear back through the hole with the fish. So we make them so they come off nice and clean. They're held on by a spring here.
Okay.
These tines are made to remove using a little cap head screw here. So you just turn them out and then they pull out so you can shove them back through the fish. I actually have one right here. Did a lot of design time into them. Double taper design so they fly through the water straight.
Oh, yeah. And if that fish is out 10, 12 feet, I mean, you can watch this thing and...
Yeah, you just launch
throw
it,
it.
give it a good shove and it'll go right at it.
Okay.
They'll fly straight.
Well, I've got pike spears and I've got rough fish spears in my garage, but this thing here is a little different animal here, Steve.
Yeah, it's one of a kind, man. It's going through a big fish.
Well, thank you again
You're more than welcome.
very much. And I will bring the fish over to you after I stick them.
I hope you do.
I will.
I wish you the best of luck out there.
Well, thank you very much.
With spear in hand, I've got just one item left on the list, and it's easily the most interesting, unusual, and creative piece of this puzzle: the decoy. This sturgeon spearing tradition has actually spawned an entire folk art movement, as local artisans like Vern Gephardt create beautiful, hand-carved works of art.
Every piece of wood you take is different, and it files different. You know, every piece it's got its own natural design in it. You know, I look for design in a piece of wood.
Others, like Nick Rohde, are into the more colorful and unusual.
This one's my goldfish, and I just had a hunk of wood that I didn't know what to do with. And then I got to thinking, well, it looks like a goldfish.
From repurposed bowling pins to colorful creatures in all shapes and sizes, the whole idea is to grab a sturgeon's attention and get him to come in for a closer look. It seems I'm as ready as I can be for my baptism into this wonderful Wisconsin tradition. And when We Love It Outdoors returns, me and 13,000 of my closest friends will hit the ice for opening day. It's early morning on opening day of the 2015 Wisconsin sturgeon spearing season, and this access to Lake Winnebago is like rush hour in a big city. More than 13,000 anglers are headed out on the ice in search of a giant lake sturgeon, and for the first time, I'm one of them.
We're here. Wow, look at this. Everywhere. Oh, it is just a gnarly, gnarly day. But we're going to be in the Fuzzy Dice house, and we're going to be cozy. And the sun is just about to poke up through the clouds back here. And we're going to be able to see pretty soon. So it is time now. It's after 7 o'clock. We've got both spears rigged and ready. Decoy is down. We have enough daylight to see. The wind is howling, but it's time. So it's time to pull up a chair and start watching.
I think it was Matt's father, Dave Van Elzen, who told me before this started that if you're afraid of being bored, don't try sturgeon spearing. It's hours, days, and sometimes years of waiting for 30 seconds of excitement. But thanks to the efforts of guys like Ryan Koenig and the Wisconsin DNR, the odds of success are better than ever. We sent our We Love It Outdoors cameras down last spring to watch Ryan and his team in action as they use the incredible spectacle that is the sturgeon spawn to continue to increase our understanding of these amazing prehistoric fish.
We have the largest density or largest population of lake sturgeon in the world. So today there's actually a lot going on. This is probably one of our more important days or busier days in terms of who's all around and what we're all doing. But all the fish that we're handling at these sites, we're measuring them to the nearest tenth of an inch. We're also determining whether they're males or females. During the spawning time is the only time of the year that we can do that externally. We're also checking to see if these fish have been pit tagged in the past. If they haven't, we're inserting a pit tag just behind the head of the fish, and that's like a social security number for that fish for the rest of its life. We're also, in the next couple of days, going to be collecting eggs and fertilizing eggs for various hatcheries and restoration programs throughout the country. So this is a male sturgeon. I think it was about 66 inches, so this fish is probably in the 75 to 80 pound class, but a nice healthy male. Mean too. Sturgeon spearing, the first modern season began in 1932. At that time, obviously, the regulations were a little more liberal. There wasn't as much data collected, but there also wasn't the interest in the sport that we currently have now. And with the high-profile population that we have here and the fishery, it's probably one of the more regulated sport fisheries, especially spear fisheries that there is in the country. Every fish that gets harvested has to be registered at one of our DNR operated registration stations. So that allows us to collect length, weight, sex, spawning stage, age and growth data, and also look for the tags to see if the fish has been tagged in the past or not. So we collect a tremendous amount of data, not only in the spring here with sturgeon, but also during that spear fishery. And the mark data from spring in combination with the mark data that we collect during that spear fishery allows us to estimate how many fish are in the population. And then it allows us to effectively set those harvest caps for spear fisheries to come.
Back on the ice, it's a day not fit for man. But the beasts seem to be pretty active.
All I seen was the big head coming in. I thought, okay, here we go.
The registration stations are doing a brisk business in big fish.
This is my biggest one. I've been doing this for 9 years now. I did get one on Poigan 2 years ago. It was a 50 pounder, but this one's 115. Hit the 100-pound club.
92.2.
And even in my house, there's action.
Oh, there's a fish. There's a fish. I don't know. It was. Shoot.
I saw it for just a second.
Yeah. I just had grabbed the spear to kind of, get a little bit more comfortable with it. I set it back in the holder and I looked down and I just caught a glimpse of a fish cutting the corner of one of these, one of the stars.
My first sturgeon sighting was too quick for a shot, but less than 100 yards away, one of our group, Jamie Griesbach, has a fish on.
Go ahead and nail him if you need to. Nice fish, buddy.
What do you think?
That's cool. Happened quick.
Is that your first one?
Second one. It's about, what was this, 42?
41, 42.
The last one was a lot bigger, but still fish.
So our group is on the board. Who's going to be next? We'll find out right after this.
Should I take him?
It's the 2015 Wisconsin sturgeon spearing season, and so far the action for many anglers has been very good, as proven by the near constant traffic at registration stations around the lake.
This is a 70-inch fish, and it weighed 79.5 pounds. Actually a 5th generation sturgeon spear, so kind of cool. I've actually got a spear that belongs to my great-grandfather. Sorry, great-great.
In my house, I'm midway through my second day of staring at the bottom of Lake Winnebago, and up until now I've had just a quick glimpse of one sturgeon.
There's one. Okay, ready? Should I take him?
You can see him.
I don't think I buried the spear, but I didn't get him. See, look at that. Oh my word. Oh shoot. It's gonna be all mucked up. Well, there it was. And she is gone. So that sucks, big time.
After all the hours of staring at nothing but a decoy, in less than 10 seconds my opportunity came and went. But in that brief rush of adrenaline, the passion that drives the 13,000 anglers that venture out on Lake Winnebago every year became perfectly clear. And as it turned out, I wouldn't be the only one in our group to have a sturgeon encounter today.
There's one. Is he big enough? Is he big enough? Yeah, it's over. Get him. Got him.
With a perfect shot right behind the head, Matt connects. And as soon as we get word, I head over to lend a hand.
What do we got going here in the stabbing cabin?
We got one going on.
You got one? What do you want me to do?
Can you hold this here?
Yep.
So we had to get him out. What's on? Gotta be careful this spear doesn't roll and get you. So I'm gonna grab control of it. I'll help him out.
We got him! We got him!
Oh, that's the first fresh one that I've seen. Nice job. Wow. The stabbing cabin came through again.
It's amazing how our outdoors traditions serve to bring friends, families, and entire communities together. So it is with the annual Lake Winnebago sturgeon spearing season. A shining example of how a treasured and historic local angling tradition can work hand in hand with conservation groups like the Wisconsin DNR to create and sustain the healthiest population of lake sturgeon in the world. And it goes without saying, but we're gonna say it anyway.
Lake Winnebago sturgeon spearing. We love it! Woohoo! Yes!
Get the spear in there. Should I grab him with my hand? He's gonna.
Weird.
Oh, I think that's a sign. I think that just means it's time to go wildlife fishing back in Brainerd.
Continue this adventure by visiting your local Mills Fleet Farm store or shop online at fleetfarm.com for all your sporting good needs and more. fleetfarm.com.